The check arrived like a death sentence, nestled on a silver tray amid the ruins of foie gras and empty crystal glasses. My parents, flushed with wine and smug satisfaction, didn't even glance at it. Instead, my father slid it toward me with a wink, his manicured fingers tapping the leather-bound folder. "You're doing so well now, son. What's a little treat for your old folks?" My mother giggled, her diamond earrings catching the chandelier light like mocking stars. I stared at the total. $1,200 for a meal I hadn't touched, hadn't wanted. Hadn't even been invited to until they called me mid-dessert, claiming their card was declined by mistake. The rage hit me like a gut punch, hot and nauseating, as the waiter hovered expectantly. Humiliation burned my cheeks. I paid, of course. What choice did I have? But as I signed the slip, my hand trembled not from the cost, but from the sudden visceral realization. This wasn't a mistake. This was theft. From their own son. Driving home through the rain-slicked streets of Chicago, the wipers thumping like a frantic heartbeat, I gripped the wheel until my knuckles whitened. The city lights blurred into streaks of neon fury. How had it come to this? Denial clawed at me first. Maybe they were struggling, maybe it was pride keeping them silent. But the memories flooded in, unbidden and sharp. The loans I'd given them over the years never repaid. The college fund they'd borrowed for their cruise, promising interest that never materialized. The house I'd co-signed for, only to discover they'd refinanced it behind my back, saddling me with debt while they upgraded to a condo with a lake view. Heartbreak twisted in my chest, a dull ache that made breathing hard. These were my parents, the ones who'd raised me, bandaged my scraped knees, cheered at my graduations. Or had they? Resentment bubbled up, obsidian black. Had it all been a long con, their affection a veneer over calculated greed? In my cramped apartment, the air thick with the scent of takeout containers and stale coffee, I paced the worn hardwood floors. The clock ticked mercilessly, each second amplifying my obsession. I pored over bank statements under the harsh glow of a desk lamp, the numbers swimming like accusations. $50,000 gone over 5 years, dribbled away in emergencies that always coincided with their vacations or luxury purchases. Guilt gnawed at me. Was I overreacting? They were aging, vulnerable. But then doubt crept in, cold and insidious. Why hadn't they asked outright? Why the lies, the manipulations? I imagined confronting them, their faces crumpling in feigned shock, my mother's tears a weaponized flood. No confrontation would change nothing. They'd deny, deflect, make me the villain for daring to question. Fantasies of justice flickered in my mind, exposing their schemes to family, cutting them off entirely. But deeper, darker thoughts emerged. What if I turned the tables? Made them feel the sting of betrayal, the helplessness I'd endured. Fear prickled my skin. Was I capable of that? Moral conflict raged like a storm. Revenge would make me no better than them. Or would it? In the quiet hours before dawn, resolve hardened, an icy blade in my gut. I began planning, subtle at first. A call to their banker, posing as a concerned son, gleaning details of their accounts. The suspense built in my veins, a slow poison. I'd bide my time, let them dig deeper. The next morning, over brunch at their sun-drenched condo, the tension simmered beneath polite smiles. "That dinner was divine," my mother cooed, sipping mimosa from a fluted glass, her silk robe whispering against the marble counter. "We should do it again soon." My father nodded, his eyes gleaming with unspoken expectation. "Business picking up at the firm?" he asked casually, but I heard the probe, the hunger for my next windfall. I forced a laugh, natural enough to hide the suppressed rage coiling in my throat. "Oh yeah, big promotion coming." Lies, but they lapped it up, their greed a palpable fog in the room. Inside, my thoughts churned. I'd invite them to another celebration, one where the bill would be more than monetary. Subtle hints escaped in my voice, a sharper edge to my questions about their finances, a lingering gaze at their valuables. They didn't notice, too absorbed in their entitlement. But I felt the shift, the quiet calculation turning to something irrevocable. Heart pounding, I excused myself early. The city's hum outside a soundtrack to my brewing storm. Weeks blurred into a haze of meticulous preparation, each day layering my obsession like coats of varnish on a fragile facade. In the dim glow of my laptop screen, surrounded by the metallic tang of cooling ramen and the distant wail of sirens, I delved deeper. Public records revealed the extent of their deceit. Liens on properties I'd never known about, credit cards in my name, forged signatures that made my stomach churn with fresh humiliation. Anger evolved into a cold resolve, but guilt shadowed every step. They were blood after all. What if revenge shattered us irreparably? Doubt whispered during sleepless nights, visions of their broken faces haunting me. Yet resentment won out. They'd stolen not just money but trust, dignity. I crafted a plan, morally gray and precise. A family investment opportunity, baited with promises of quick returns. I'd use their greed against them, siphon back what was mine through a shell account I'd set up anonymously. Fear tightened my chest as I wired the seed money, my last savings, but the suspense thrilled me, a dark adrenaline. The setup unfolded at a upscale cafe overlooking the river, the water's choppy surface mirroring my inner turmoil. Sunlight dappled the linen tablecloth, but the air felt heavy, charged. "This tech startup is gold," I said, sliding glossy brochures across. Fakes I'd printed, realistic enough to fool. My voice steady, belying the suppressed rage simmering beneath. "Invest $20,000 each, and we'll triple it in months." My father's eyes lit up, avarice raw and unmasked. "Sounds promising. We've got some savings tucked away." My mother hesitated, her fingers twisting a napkin, a flicker of doubt in her gaze. "Is it safe, dear?" she asked, her tone laced with manipulation, testing if I'd cover any losses. I nodded, heart racing. Here was the hook. "Absolutely. I'll handle everything." They signed the contracts that afternoon, their signatures sealing their fate. As we parted, hugs stiff and insincere, I tasted the first bitter tang of impending justice. But obsession gripped tighter. Was this enough, or did I crave more? The transfer hit their accounts like a silent thunderclap, funds vanishing into my offshore void. I watched from afar, via hacked alerts, a risky favor from a shady contact, the panic setting in. Calls came that night, my phone vibrating insistently on the nightstand. "Something's wrong," my father barked when I answered, his voice cracking for the first time, stripped of its usual bluster. "The money's gone, hacked maybe?" Suspense peaked as I feigned shock, my words dripping concern. "I'll look into it. Stay calm." Inside, cold resolve warred with guilt. Their fear was a mirror to mine, but poetic. Heartbreak resurfaced. Had I become the monster? Moral conflict clawed, but I pressed on. Confrontation came at their condo, the once pristine space now cluttered with frantic papers, the air sour with desperation. "You did this," my mother accused, tears streaming, her face a mask of betrayal that echoed my own past pain. "Why?" My father slumped, defeated, motivations laid bare. "We thought you'd always provide. We're family." The admission fueled my rage, but also pity. They were flawed, driven by fear of poverty after bad investments. Yet resentment surged. "Family doesn't steal," I whispered, voice trembling. In that charged silence, the twist uncoiled. I revealed the forged cards, the drained funds. But instead of triumph, unexpected consequences hit. I'd uncovered their own deeper betrayal, a sibling I'd never known, abandoned and funded secretly with my money. Heartbreak shattered me anew. "We did it for her," my mother sobbed. Obsession crumbled into hollow victory. Revenge tasted like ash. In the end, I returned half, enough to stave off ruin, but severed ties with a final, gut-wrenching goodbye. Walking away into the biting wind, guilt and resolve intertwined. Justice served, but at what cost? The city swallowed me, a film reel fading to black, leaving scars that time might never heal.